Hey my friends, it's Dr. Groovy here, Scott Grove from GroovyMusicLessons.com. Hope you enjoyed the intro there. Today, as it says in the description, I'm going to try to teach you guys some blues double stop stuff. Double stops are simply when you use two notes at the same time. Okay, so there will not be any of that stuff. It'll be the other stuff, okay? So these kind of things. Okay, so generally that kind of stuff. Rockabilly, if you will, or some fast-paced blues. But of course you could take all these things and slow them down to meet your needs, okay? So you get the idea. So if that interests you, stick around with me and we'll go ahead and knock a bunch of these out. Okay, thanks for sticking around. Gonna get into this mess. There's quite a few of these to throw at you. So we'll be here for a while, or you can come back and do these little at a time. It's the beautiful thing about video. Do it at your leisure. Anyway, gonna do this in the key of C. It brings it up here to where we can all see what's going on. Backing track you've already heard. It goes like this. So it goes from the C right to the F, right back to the C, then F again, back to C, then F and G back to C. So it's not your typical 12-bar blues, but it is still a 12-bar blues. The first one of these double stops I want to use is something that you can go ahead and, all these you can use immediately. But this here's one of the grooviest because you can take it and throw tons of different rhythms behind it to make it sound very different. You don't have to switch this around. You don't have to, after we're playing it in C, you don't have to move it up to F and then back to C, then up to G and F. And you can, okay, if you're doing something else and all of a sudden you happen to be in the position of F and it's right there, of course you can follow it. So in C, we're going all the way up here to the high E and B strings. We're going up to the 8th fret on both of those. Okay, again, double stops, 2 strings. Now, the other 2 notes we're going to be picking are going to be on your B string at the 10th fret and your high E string at the 11th fret. Okay? You can go ahead and bend them up like that. If you want, or just with, like I said, the different rhythm things going on. Then when it goes to F, you can go to F just like that if you want, which is simply taking your ring finger, going and grabbing the 10th fret on your G and B string. Okay, so you can check that out. I'll do it just as I explained it. Okay, real quick while we're there, and I did that when we went back to C. I just simply went back 2 frets using my index finger here at 8 and 8 on the G and the B string, so G and B. Then I went downward with a bend on the G string, half step to bring it into a major. Okay, again, how that one ended up working itself out. Okay, so that's how that went around. When we went to the F, okay, so I was doing a bend, and then doing that C thingy. It's actually what do we actually got here? An E flat, but it works. Okay. Remember this whole thing right there, because we're going to be using it in just a couple of seconds right after this one, just to keep things kind of in the same vein, not the sore vein, but the same vein. Okay, so with this whole again, that one is one that you don't want to miss because it can be done so many different ways, okay? Okay, so you heard how I followed it. A lot of it is just the rhythm that you give to those 2 notes and how much you bend them. You can really go to town on those things. And you heard me follow up to the F. If you're going up to the G, it just gets crazy, but you get to land on your typical blues stuff instead of having to stick to the double stops. Of course, when you're doing double stops, mix them in with your regular blues licks. Don't just sit there and do an entire double stop solo. Of course you can if you wish to, but it does get old fast. But what doesn't get old is when you mix it together with the stuff you already know. Okay, another thing that I did at the intro was I told you not to forget to do this. Okay, from the... Okay, what we're simply going to do is get in our C position, so the 5th fret with your ring finger on the G and B string. And that's so you can go back to the 3rd fret with your 1st finger, okay, at the 3rd fret. Now we can go all the way up there to that 8th fret. To do it with my 1st finger here on the 8th fret, so I can go all the way up here to the 10th fret with my ring finger again. So okay, And there's another reason, because when we're up here, we can set ourselves up for that. So what I think of when doing this, okay, so I'm pulling off from the 5, both notes to the 3rd fret, and actually go into the D string on 5th fret. You don't have to go to the D string if you don't want, but, and then switching up to, because no matter what key you're in, you can always remember from there I can just go up 3 frets and I'm where I'm supposed to be, and that puts you right in C again on your top 2 notes. Okay, so it's a groovy little pattern to remember. So by doing this, so you see how that can be done. Little of that goes a really long way. But again, when we went up here to the 8th fret, that leaves us open to do the, I'm doing double stops on both of those. You could do a single note on the G string and then do a double stop, or do the G string and the B string. Whatever works for you. Anyway, that's just extending everything on to the 3rd fret. I'm sorry, 3rd string up here at the 8th fret. So you're on your G string as well. And you're doing with your middle finger a hammer on to the 9th fret on your G string. Okay, so I like to hammer on with both strings going on, but just hammer on the G string only. Then the B and E string. And then we get to actually do the thing we did at the beginning. Ending up on the 10th fret on the D string. Okay, that's another one. It's all just stringing together. So our first thing we did, then okay, so they all run together. A beautiful thing. Okay, so that's all that stuff you can go ahead and use in there. Another one is sitting there and straddling over the top of the C note, which is at the 5th fret on the G string. We're going to use everything but right now, so we're going to flip off the audience, right? Okay, so we're going to actually get our ring finger up here on 6 on the B string, pinky 6 on the high E string, and back here waiting on the 4th fret of the B string, have our first finger, and we will be adding the middle finger to the 5th fret of the G string. So what we're going to do is actually bend the B string up. The two fingers on the B string really help with the bend. We're playing double stops, so we're hitting the B and E string. Okay. So we hit the E and the B, or the B and the E, I should say, since we're stroking down. I said stroking, I know. Okay, so you see how those fit together. A little backing track. Okay, so that's groovy there as well. Again, don't just stick on the key you're in. You can follow everything around. Okay, so by doing so, it should simply remind you of this, that you can play this on your 4 chords and your 5 chords if you're playing your normal blues stuff elsewhere. Okay, so like this. Just did typical one-note stuff on all the C stuff, but when I went to G's and F's, I did double stops. Okay, so it did just the opposite of what we started off doing by sticking everything that's in C in double stop mode. So that just went the other way. So don't forget, you have more than one chord in a song. Okay, so another thing is, if you're doing okay, that's in C, of course we did it earlier. That's that 10-8 pull off, then the 10 on the D string. There's a cool one to do is okay, go down and do some of those. Okay, one I like to do is to actually go way up here, whatever key you're in, and do here I'm with the 17th fret. And then bring it to this, I guess it's the 7th fret, I'm sorry, 8th fret. It's like I haven't said 7th fret before yet in this video that I remember, but going from, again, up here to 17 and 15. It's just kind of okay, it's just a scrape up as you're sliding down. And it's the place to grab your major, bend into it. Again, using the same ones I showed you. 5, 3, 5, 10, 8. Okay, you'll start hearing songs here in a second. What you gonna do to your heart? Yeah, big singer that was. Anyway, so yeah, these are the groovy things that you can do with double stops. The other things, you can add a triple stop to it, okay, which is called a triad. When you're doing typical C that looks like a D, so play your D way up here at the 14, 14, then a 15 in the middle. Bring it back to fresh. You're in C. Now make it a C7 by inverting it so you have 12, 11, 12. Okay. ZZ Top if you actually use the 10 and 8 method. Okay, but to use the typical why did I play it weird and wrong sounding? Just to show you that that leg's there. If you're not playing the ZZ Top thing. But why I said the triad is because you can add that high E string. Okay, so speaking of that one there, you have to throw in the Chuck Berry. Okay, of course, those of you who don't know it, 8 and 8 on the high E and the B, then just going to the 10 on the G string, bending that one up a whole step. Just like on Johnny B. Good type stuff, remember to use different phrasings on all of this stuff. If you're doing instead of the typical blues thing, you can toss it in on funk or disco or country or whatever the heck you want to do. It's all ran together so much these days you can't tell one genre from the next. So there are a few things for you to go ahead and work on. Again, play your 4s and 5 chords with the double stops and your typical stuff on the 1s and so forth. Don't limit yourself to one key. Play it in B flat and all the other things going on. Tons of backing tracks all over YouTube and elsewhere. Just go listen to one and play these things along with it. Again, they're called double stops. For those of you who don't know it, it's generally a term that you hear in country a whole lot. But again, it simply means 2 notes at a time. Okay? With the country thing, you will hear people doing the Okay, real quick before I get out of here, that last one is really cool if you want to use it, like if you're in C, like right before you go to the F. It's very cool. You do the bending. You can use a pick. I'll go ahead and grab a pick just to do it. Okay, so your pinky and your ring finger are at the 8th fret on the E and B. Okay, you're just bending the B string up a whole step. Bring the whole thing back 2 frets. Okay, that's actually hitting a C7, but you're only hitting the B string at the 5th fret, and you start with your G string that is played at the 3rd fret. You start with it bent up a whole step, so it's like it's at the 5th. Okay. Then to your F. Okay, so you can go ahead and just bend it back up from the major, or sorry, the 7th, back up to the regular chord, the major chord, and then go to the 5 chord, your G. Okay, so if you're in C, that lets you know you're going to F. Back to C, double stops, why not? To G. Let's just go to C now and stay there. Okay, whatever you want to do. It's really cool way up here too. Or anytime you just want to do a 7th. Okay, so I'll go from make a C7 of it before it goes to the F. One thing was just simply backward of what we did earlier. Okay, real easy one to figure out because we already did the. So. Double stops. That one's a cool one. Okay, so hope you thought all that stuff was groovy. You guys stay groovy. I always am. And out of here for today. Herpy Trails. Bye.